Not everything you've heard about the state of Kentucky is true. Well, some of it's true, but not all of Kentucky is just fields, horses, and farms. There's so much more to our beautiful state. From the southern hospitality to the picturesque landscapes, Kentucky has so much to offer. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you the 5 things you need to know before moving to the state of Kentucky. Welcome back. I'm Katie Skeen, a local realtor here in Louisville, Kentucky, and on my channel we discuss all things related to moving to and living in Kentucky. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the 5 things you need to know before moving to Kentucky. So let's jump right in. The first thing you need to know is that Kentuckians love horse racing. Now you might already know that if you're a fan of the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is the first leg of the Triple Crown. It's held on the first Saturday in May in Louisville, Kentucky at Churchill Downs. The Derby is the culmination of a 2-week festival called the Kentucky Derby Festival. There's so many great things to do in Louisville, Kentucky during that time. It starts with Thunder over Louisville, which is one of our nation's largest fireworks show. It includes the Derby Marathon. There's all different kinds of events and festivities leading up to the Derby. One thing you'll want to know is that most Louisvillians and Kentuckians tend to actually go to Oaks Day, which is the Friday, the day before the Kentucky Derby is the Kentucky Oaks Day of racing. And so a lot of locals are used to going on that day instead of actually going to the Derby. The grand prize winner gets well over $1 million. So if you get your big hat and your mint julep and get ready for the Kentucky Derby, it's a time-honored tradition that we've done here in Kentucky for over 100 years. Now, the Kentucky Derby is not the only way to enjoy horse racing in the state of Kentucky. I always recommend Keeneland. It's located just outside of Lexington. And when you think of the picturesque, beautiful rolling green hills and horse country of Kentucky, that is right where Keeneland is. They hold races throughout the year. You can go enjoy good food, live racing and betting, and just enjoy a good time with your friends at Keeneland. The second thing you need to know is that bourbon is Kentucky's drink of choice. It's really important that you understand there is a difference between bourbon and whiskey. If you come to Kentucky and you start talking about whiskey, you might actually offend somebody. So what is actually the difference between bourbon and whiskey? Well, bourbon is distilled from a mixture of grains and mash, and at least 51% of that mixture needs to come from corn. Now you might wonder, why is so much of the world's bourbon produced right here in Kentucky? And that's because our climate is perfect for the distilling process. Many people flock to Kentucky throughout the year to visit the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Now this includes 37 distilleries across our state, ranging from Louisville down to Bardstown, Kentucky, all the way over to Lexington, and all throughout the state of Kentucky are these different distilleries. 2 of my favorite distilleries to visit are Heaven Hill and Woodford Reserve. Now, if you are going to go out to Woodford Reserve, be sure that you stop by Wallace Station for lunch. It's a really cute little sandwich shop that's located not too far from there, and you won't regret stopping in there. Now, I do want to admit to you that I'm not actually originally from Kentucky, and so when I first moved here and I tasted bourbon, I thought that it was burning my throat off. So it's not my drink of choice, but for many Kentuckians, it is the drink of choice. The third thing you need to know about our state is that basketball is king. People here in Kentucky care very deeply about basketball. You're either a University of Kentucky fan or a University of Louisville fan, but never both. In some houses, we even see that the house is divided between the 2 teams. The University of Louisville basketball team obviously is located in Louisville. It has a rich tradition and heritage of basketball. It has had many winning seasons. Now, in the most recent years, in the last 10 years, we've had the Rick Pitino era, and of course they had a lot of success under his coaching. Pitino guided the Cardinals to the NCAA tournament in 12 out of 15 seasons. They reached the Elite 6 times, and they had 3 Final Four appearances. Of course, in 2013, they actually won the NCAA title, but unfortunately, many of you know that in 2017, several of these titles got stripped away from the University of Louisville because of the Rick Pitino scandal. So a lot of Louisvillians have lost heart as a result of this, but the die-hard fans have remained steadfast. It's honestly been hard to watch the Cardinals play, and as of today, their record is 2-19. They are not currently ranked. So we're not having such high hopes for this season, but we do have high hopes for the future of what this basketball team could do. Now, if you're not a U of L fan, then you certainly are a UK fan. You're a University of Kentucky basketball fan, and they also have a rich tradition of winning. The University of Kentucky holds the title for the all-time winning percentage in the NCAA. University of Kentucky has had 59 appearances in the NCAA tournament. It's tied with North Carolina with 131 tournament wins. It's played 184 games. It's been in the Sweet 16 45 times, the Elite 8 38 times. University of Kentucky has played in 17 Final Fours, and it is in third place behind North Carolina and UCLA. They've had 12 championship games, tied for first with University of North Carolina and UCLA. And lastly, they've won 8 NCAA championships. So as you can see, University of Kentucky has a very rich, time-honored tradition of basketball and a very successful program throughout history. Unfortunately, this season they are not ranked and they are 14-7 as of today, but hopefully they'll make it into that tournament in March and we'll be able to see what they can do. The fourth thing that you need to know is Kentucky is not just farms, fields, and horses. Of course, there are a lot of those things in Kentucky, but we actually have cities in Kentucky as well. If you look up U.S. cities by population, you might actually be surprised to find out that Louisville is currently ranked 28th in regards to its population. So out of all the places in the United States, we're 28th. I think that's pretty good. So we are a city here in Louisville. There is a lot of culture, diversity, opportunities, recreation. There's a lot to offer here in Louisville, Kentucky. The population as of 2021 was 628,594. Of course, Kentucky does have those beautiful rolling green hills that I talked about as well. It has Daniel Boone National Forest, it has Red River Gorge, it has some really beautiful landscapes, but of course it has the urban environment and all the amenities and the big city feel of Louisville, Kentucky as well. Close behind Louisville, of course, is Lexington, where they have a really nice blend of the rural and urban environment over in Lexington. The last thing you need to know is that not everybody in the state of Kentucky lives on a farm, is poor, and has an accent. Now, those are some gross stereotypes that you might think of in the state of Kentucky. Oh, also, not everybody in the state of Kentucky goes around barefoot all the time. I love wearing shoes. I live here. So I'm a big advocate of shoes, especially with my kids. Although if you ask my kids, they might be true Kentuckians because they hate wearing shoes. It's actually a misconception that all Kentuckians have accents. It's actually pretty well known that the further south you get, the stronger the accent is. So if you're thinking about the southern portion of the United States, if you're moving further south down into Alabama, Georgia, some of those areas, you're going to get that stronger southern accent, but you're not going to get that as much in the state of Kentucky, although it's very regional. Different regions of Kentucky have different dialects and have stronger accents than others. Now, within our state, I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't experience as much of the accents here, but it is a misconception that we're all speaking with an accent. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the 5 things you need to know before moving to the state of Kentucky. If you're interested in more information about Kentucky, be sure to check out my video, 5 Cities to Live in Kentucky. As always, if you're considering making the move, please reach out, subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be updated every week when I have a new video come out with important information about moving to Kentucky. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.